Alright, guys, I'm here to give you a Raw review, but before I give you my Raw review, I want to give you my thoughts on the CM Punk situation. As you know, 2 weeks ago, CM Punk left the WWE. He walked out. I talked about it, but I didn't talk about it. What I feel it's different about it now because when I talked about it, I didn't know why he left the WWE. And you can check that video out. It's on the CM Brothers account. Um, so I'm gonna talk about it now. So pretty much CM Punk left the WWE, and he left because he's sick of all these part timers taking the spots of the current superstars, like the part timers like The Rock, like Brock Lesnar, like fucking Triple H, who's a fucking dick, like the New Age Outlaws, the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, like who else is there that's a part timer? I wouldn't consider John Cena a part timer, but he's been in the title picture so often. I would kind of put John Cena, Randy Orton, because it seems like no matter how much change there is, it always goes back to John Cena versus Randy Orton. Batista, and I think that's when Punk finally had it. Is when Batista won the Royal Rumble match, because there was so many guys new guys you could have given it to him. You could have given it to CM Punk himself. You could have given it to Roman Reigns of the Shield, and have Dean Ambrose drop the U.S. title and have Roman Reigns become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Or you could have done like a program with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose and have a feud, and then you could have done Roman Reigns, Randy Orton at Mania. I think that would actually be a decent match. Or you could have changed it up and maybe have Roman Reigns be a member of the Shield headed into WrestleMania, and then Roman Reigns face like Daniel Bryan, Christian, or something. That would be watchable. Um, or you could have had Daniel Bryan win like everybody wanted, and then you could have done Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship, or Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Daniel Bryan, John Cena too for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You could have done a Daniel Bryan. Yeah, I mean, there was just so many options you had, but you went with Batista, which was like the predictable option. And nobody wanted Batista to win the Royal Rumble match. I didn't want Batista to win. And I actually commend what he did. But at the same time, I kind of don't. Um, because like he left at this is probably the worst time he could have left because he was destined to go against Triple H, also known as the Dick Face, also known as Paul Levesque, but mostly the Dick Face, and he was gonna go against Triple H at Mania, face him, he was probably gonna beat the Dick Face at Mania because Triple H sucks. Um, so yeah, and then you had but yeah, it is what it is. But now I'm hearing that. So everyone, I'm hearing that the WWE is taking signs away from fans, like CM Punk signs. That kind of doesn't surprise me that they would do something like that because they do check your signs anyways. Like when you go to a wrestling event, and I've had signs before, they're like, "Let me see your sign. Let me see your sign." So I don't even bring signs anymore because I'm like, if you know what, if they're gonna want to see what I read on my sign, what I write on my sign, then what's the point of putting the sign? Um, but yeah, CM Punk but yeah, they're kicking fans out for starting CM Punk chants. I think it was at live event because if they had kicked him out last week on Raw, everybody would have been kicked out. But yeah, it's just if that. But I'm still because someone tweeted about it. I saw the tweet. I don't know if this is just a guy trying to get attention from the WWE audience or if this is actually true. But if you honestly are kicking fans out, what the fuck are you doing? Like we have the right to freedom of speech for one thing, but in the Constitution. Number two, they pay to buy your tickets. Do you really think they're ever gonna go to your show again if you kick them out of your arena? Like I don't understand why they would kick fans out, but I kind of would because I think if since CM Punk walked out, they're trying to erase him from the WWE. He's like the Chris Benoit. They want to erase CM Punk out of the WWE, and I don't blame them for that. But I don't think this is the right way because this is gonna get the fans even more aggravated. This is gonna get the fans going even more for CM Punk. They're gonna want CM Punk back, and that's not the best way to go about it. I'm just lifting up the table because it doesn't feel like my face is getting it enough. And now it really doesn't feel like my face is getting it enough. I guess that wasn't the best way to do that. Yeah, I'll fix that later. But anyhow, yeah, they're gonna die. Like the CM Punk fans chants will die down. All fans do. But I hear that this could also be a storyline. Now that may very likely be a storyline. Because I heard that Dolph Ziggler started speaking out on the app. I couldn't find that shoot promo, but I heard that he is speaking out because he's not being utilized as well as he once was. I hear that Miz is now speaking out, like the past 2 weeks on Raw, last weekend, this week he's come out on commentary and trashed the fact that he's not in the match. So I don't know. It could be a work, but it couldn't be a work. I'm not really too sure what the direction they want to go with this CM Punk situation, but like I'm saying, like I don't know if this is a work or if this isn't a work. So I'm just if this is real or fake. If it's so, I'm actually kind of interested. But now let's get to Raw. Now I have notes, but I'm not gonna read off my notes. I just want to read off my notes for a couple things. So we had this Raw happened on February 10th, 2014. It replayed. It showed it in your memory. This was like a tribute to Frank Bullock. I think he was like a commentator back when it was like the WWE or the WWF, the WWF, whatever it was. Because he had headsets on, so I think he was a commentator. And then we get JBL, Michael Cole, and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. I want to talk about like a couple things. I want to talk about Lita because I'm not gonna go in order because I will tell you why. I want to talk about Lita going into the Hall of Fame. She's going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's great. I'm a huge Lita fan. I think I like Lita and Trish Stratus are like my two favorite divas. I like Natalya too, but I like Lita and Trish. I like Lita. She was a great divas wrestler. A match I really want to actually check out that I keep meaning to sit down and watch, but I always forget, is when Trish Stratus and Lita main evented Raw for the Women's Championship. That match I heard was a sick match. I started checking it out, but then I had to go do something and never checked back at it again. But yeah, I remember but I did see like highlights of the match, and I saw when Lita, I think I saw this part, when Lita ended up breaking her neck in that match by doing a suicide dive. Like, they had a sick main event match. She did hurricanranas, did like Test, Eddie Guerrero, stuff like that. She did them in the tribute video. She did them to a Christian off a ladder. She's like I like Lita. I think she actually brought a lot to the Divas division. I actually remember playing in WWE 13. It was like when you had to do the Attitude Era mode, and you had to do Lita versus Trish Stratus for the Women's Championship with The Rock as the special guest referee. And I remember I couldn't fucking beat that match because The Rock fucking slow counting you. But yeah, I remember playing that match, and that was the first time Lita ever won the Women's Championship. I remember they did that pregnant storyline with Lita, because like she was with Matt Hardy, which was a real life relationship, but then she ended up sleeping with Kane because I guess she thought that she wouldn't hurt Matt Hardy anymore. And then that whole Kane thing happened. Kane ended up being the father, and then they had a wedding with Kane and Lita. Sick. They had they had a bunch of stuff. They did this pregnancy thing that brought out kind of the Lita and Trish Stratus feud. And I remember when also she turned on Kane when it was like a Gold Rush tournament. When the winner would go on to face Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was Edge versus Kane, and Edge had his Money in the Bank briefcase at the time, and Kane had Lita hold the briefcase, so Edge couldn't use it as a weapon. But then she ended up handing him the briefcase, and Kane got knocked out by the briefcase and won. And then Lita ended up going with Edge, and they had a wedding too. This is when people are calling Lita a slut. Like that nowadays, people call AJ Lee a slut, but Lita was the slut. And they would call her a bunch of names like whore. They would make jokes about it. I thought it was funny. Um, I remember when the last match, Unforgiven, 2006, Trish Stratus leader for the Women's Championship. Sick. I remember when she came out the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw and had a match with Heath Slater, because this was back when Heath Slater was doing his Legends thing. That was cool. So yeah, I like Lita. Um, I definitely think she deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. What I really want to see at WrestleMania 30, I don't know if they are going to do it though, is I want to see AJ Lee defend the Divas Championship against Lita, because I hear that AJ Lee looked up to Lita when she was like a teenager coming into the WWE, and she liked Lita. So I think Lita should. I think they should do AJ Lee Lita for the Divas Championship. One final match for Lita. Will they do it? I don't know. I kind of doubt that, because the Divas division at Mania always gets overlooked by everything else. But you never know, right? So let's talk about the actually, I want to talk about too how they do when they did the black. They're doing the. I shouldn't say that. What's it called? Yeah, it's called Black History Month. And last week they did a tribute video for Ernie Ladd. This week they did one for Bobo Brazil. Um, I don't really know a lot about him. He had like a headbutt at Doom. He ended up managing Rocky Johnson, which is the Rock's father, and he also ended up getting inducted into the Hall of Fame by Ernie Ladd. I think as weeks go on, I'm going to be more familiar with the superstars. Like, I think eventually they're going to do the Rock, Mark Henry, guys like that. There's not really like a lot. I'm not being racist, because there's not really like a lot of black famous wrestlers, kind of. Because WWE doesn't put the belt, never gives like really the WWE Championship to a black wrestler that often. They're giving it to The Rock. I don't really think they're giving it to anybody else, but I don't know. But now let's talk about the show. Like I said, I don't want to go off my notes. I said I was going to go off my notes for those couple things, but to be honest with you, Raw, I know it took me 12 minutes to get into this video, but I had a lot to talk about. But yeah, to be honest with you, Raw, it was an average show, I thought. Like, I liked the show, but everything was just average to me. Everything was just eh. The Betty White stuff, they didn't do a lot with it, thank God. They did a lot with it, but they didn't do like as much as I thought they would. And John Cena, Randy Orton, we've seen that, countless times. So I'm gonna talk about each thing. I'll start with the. Should I start with? I'll start with the good things. Now I want to start with the bad things. Let's talk about the Divas match. To be honest with you, I didn't even bother down right now who was in the match, because it was just this typical Divas match. They do this every fucking week. This Divas matches. I don't want to see them anymore. I don't even know who won the Divas match. I know AJ Lee was in the match. I remember Naomi couldn't be in the match because she got injured she got like an injured eye by Oksana of all people. Oksana sucks. So I didn't care about that. I don't care about the Santino Morella Fandango match. I could give two shits about that. Dean Ambrose finally defended the United States Championship, because Dean Ambrose was talking about backstage in the locker room how he's the greatest United States champion ever. No one will defend. It takes all this paperwork to defend the championship, and Roman Reigns called him out on it. So Dean Ambrose did an Open U.S. Championship challenge, and of course Mark Henry accepted. We all predicted that. The match was garbage, though. I didn't like it. Mark Henry hit the world's strongest slam, and Seth Rollins ended up coming in, and it caused a disqualification. Roman Reigns speared him on the outside. Whatever. Like, wow. This makes Roman Reigns... No. This makes Dean Ambrose look like a bad champion. He doesn't defend it in all these months, and then when he finally defends it, he gets a disqualification. What the fuck? Who even knows when the next time he'll defend it by? I'll give him like 6 months. They better do Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose for the U.S. Championship. I think that's the direction going in. Yay, but at least they did a positive, though. I'll talk about something positive, I guess. The Wyatt family ended up beating Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust when Bray Wyatt hit the Sister Abigail on Rey and tagged himself in. nice match, but it was just an average match. I wouldn't really like say, oh, you can watch this match because it really wasn't that good. I thought it was okay, but not that good. They cut a promo on him after, and then the Wyatts and the Shield had like a face off. And they took a while. Once Roman Reigns got in the win, the Wyatt family chickened out. It really isn't worth watching because you're gonna see them actually have like a match at the Chamber. You didn't really see like much physicality. What I think they should do is next week each member of the group should have one-on-one matches. They should do Seth Rollins versus Eric Rowan, Ambrose, Luke Harper, Roman Reigns, and Bray Wyatt. I think that would be good. And I would say for the wins, Roman Reigns beats Bray Wyatt. Why not? Roman Reigns is a fucking boss. Dean Ambrose beats. Have Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper go for a draw because I don't really know who to win there. And Seth Rollins beat Eric Rowan. No, actually, you got to give the Wyatt family a win. Okay, Luke Harper can beat Luke Harper can beat Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins and Eric Rowan goes to a draw. Let's do something simple like that. What else do we have on the show? Sheamus and Christian versus the Real Americans with Zeb Coulter at ringside. Real Americans being Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. It was okay. I thought this was good, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. Sheamus ended up beating Swagger with a blow kick. I knew that was going to happen. I like Cesaro looks good in this match at least, but it was just an average tag match. You could check out. Now let's talk about the Betty White shit. I don't even know where to start with this. She comes out with Big Show, says she's gonna kick some ass. Backstage, talks to the Total Divas. Vicky Guerrero comes up and says something. I don't even remember. The New Age Outlaws come up and say like they're gonna get her some tea and protect her from youngsters playing pranks on her. When they give her tea, Bulldog puts in some like this weird shit of that makes you have diarrhea in her tea, and I knew that she was gonna switch it, so Billy Gunn ended up getting it, ends up drinking it, and then we got the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos versus Ryback and Curtis Axel with the New Age Outlaws on commentary. Okay, what the fuck is this? Okay. So, this would have made more sense if they were in a fucking match. When you have diarrhea, too, actually, like, if you're having, like, a situation where you have to take a shit on commentary, I'm assuming you could ask Vince, because he's, like, I'm assuming you can say, I have to take a shit. Like, like, take off your headset and say, I gotta take a shit, I really gotta go. I'm gonna... So and take off your commentary set and leave and go in the fucking locker room, Like, what the fuck? So it would have made more sense to do it in the ring anyhow, because if you did it in the ring, they couldn't do that option because you're wrestling a fucking wrestling match. But if you're on commentary, I think it's okay. And my dad's girlfriend also told me that when you gotta go, you gotta go. So yeah. The fact that it overshadowed too the tag match, so the Usos got the win obviously because they're the Usos, they're boss. Billy Gunn had to want to take a shit. It was shit. I'm not saying it to be literal. It literally was shit. It was fucking awful. Let's talk about John Cena. Let's talk about some positive stuff. Daniel Bryan wanted to wrestle Kane, and Kane's on like relief, so I think for a week it's not like the Authority or something. I don't know what they didn't like fucking explain it. Good fucking job for not explaining that. Yeah, but we're gonna get let me. Trying to remember what I was gonna say. Oh, and then Daniel Bryan wanted to have the night. So Daniel Bryan wanted to wrestle someone. Triple H gave him the night off. Later on, Kane came out, apologized. Daniel Bryan came out. They had a fight, good fight, and fought Kane off to the crowd. It was okay. It wasn't bad. Good Daniel Bryan chant. They really were hard on him tonight because this was the building where he won the WWE Championship against John Cena at SummerSlam. So that was good. I didn't like that, but still, it was just kind of average. Alexander Rusev coming. We've seen him at the Royal Rumble, so why are they playing these hype videos like he's coming? Michael Cole actually bought the network thing too. He said, if you wrote it tonight, you can have the network for free for 1 week. But he bought it. It's actually the 24th, so that was funny. I'm trying to think of what else. I'll actually check my notes. I think I covered everything that I. Oh, I remember. Del Rio and Ziggler had a match. They had a match. Whatever. You would think I would say, oh, it was better. It should be better, but it was like short. Del Rio kicked him in the head and fucking won. Then Batista came out, destroyed Del Rio, threw him into the steps. Batista bombed him, and that was it. And then Triple H backstage makes Batista versus Alberto Del Rio. How is this really a feud, though? What purpose does this have? I think this only purpose is making look Batista strong going into WrestleMania. Because every time Del Rio's tried to attack Batista, he's failed. And he's failed. Every time Del Rio went to attack Batista, he's failed. Batista laid him out the night he came back. He had him running last week, and he laid him out tonight. So he's just gonna lay him out again at the Elimination Chamber. If Del Rio wins, that will be fucking shocking, but that's not gonna happen. John Cena, Randy Orton. You can literally make like a mixed CD of all the matches, and you get this match probably. This match is exactly like that. I don't fucking care about the matches anymore. I don't give a fuck. Cena fucking won. Whoop-de-doo. We knew he was gonna win because he needs the real momentum. Whoop-de-fucking-doo. Yeah, that's Raw. Average fucking show much. Like I didn't mind watching the show. It was just a fucking average show though. There's nothing to fucking talk about. We're going into fucking WrestleMania and the Elimination Chamber, and we got these past 2 Raws have sucked. Last week sucked. This week's was just fucking average. Do you really think I'm gonna accept an average show this close going into WrestleMania? I don't fucking think so. I want fucking great matches, great stuff. I think without CM Punk there now, it's like you don't have that one thing to look forward to. Like at least when CM Punk was there, he was like, okay, this show's gonna be good. It sucks. It's gonna obviously move on. But the Daniel Bryan stuff was the best stuff for the show, I think. The Wyatt family match was just a match. The Elimination Chamber is gonna be good. I know it will, because you got the Elimination Chamber match. You got the Shield versus the Wyatt family, which is gonna be fucking epic. Del Rio Batista is just going to be a match. It's just going to be a fucking random match. But yeah, Raw was just an average show. I want to see better Raws. I think SmackDown should be good because we're going to get a big 8-man tag match. It's going to be like the Usos and and Cody Rhodes and Goldust, I think, versus the New Age Outlaws, and I think it's either the Real Americans or Ryback and Curtis Axel. But either way, that match should be okay. And then we're gonna get no, it's actually I think the Ryback and Curtis Axel, and then Randy Orton versus Cesaro, which should be fucking awesome since Cesaro can work a match. And we'll win Orton to his game instead of fucking this John Cena bullshit. And then Sheamus is next week. But yeah, this show was just a fucking average show. I definitely don't consider checking this show out. I would say skip this Raw. You wouldn't fucking miss nothing. Let me make sure I covered everything. Yeah, I covered everything. Pretty much I covered everything. I covered everything. So yeah, what you guys can do is click on all the stuff below, so you can subscribe to everything like the old Talkinator site because I'm making a comeback. CM Brothers, there's going to be a lot of CM Brother videos coming out for the past few days. I'm going to come back on this channel, Wrestling Fortune 44. Anytime I have a wrestling video to make, I'll come on this channel. Once in a while, though, if you want to see the wrestling videos, go on the CM Brothers channel. But I'm going to get more into what's going to happen when I go back on that channel. But that's pretty much it for this Raw review, but then again, please WWE, give us better Raws.